Well, hey family, this is Darlene with Jewelry by BDK. I wanted to stop by like really quick. I got a question. The question was regarding my wall. Behind me, you can see pictures of my product that are hung up on the wall. And I think it was Miss Phyllis that asked me that. And if it wasn't Miss Phyllis, I apologize for that. But then she asked me, well, what was the inspiration behind hanging up the pictures? Well, this room is dedicated. This is my work studio is literally dedicated to what I do, not just making the jewelry, but my business across the board. When I'm creating ebooks, when I'm working on the boxes, the stash boxes, when I am anything and everything that I'm doing as it relates to Jewelry by BDK and work, I come in this work area right here. So behind me is the packing station. To the right of me, I got my computer, another computer, the big computer, the printer, the shredder, like everything that I need all over here, all over there. All over here is like jewelry supplies and stuff, my exercise bike, which I ain't been on in probably about a month. Okay. And I've been really bad with that. But she was asking me that in the inspiration. The inspiration is so when I walk in here, I'm encouraged to create. So it's like when you walk into a boutique or you walk into a shoe store or you walk into a museum. When you walk in, everything within is a reflection of what that place represents, right? So when I walk into my work studio right here within my home, everything in here is a reflection of Jewelry by BDK. It's what I want to see when I walk in here, and it's literally set up like such a small business that is Jewelry by BDK, right? On the walls over here, I have an area for my file cabinet, not file cabinet, those things you hang on the wall, little metal file things where I put all my paperwork and stuff and packing slips and all that kind of stuff. All kind of pictures on the wall that are about faith and it talks about a negative mind will never give you a positive life. The eternal God is your refuge. Underneath are the everlasting arms. For everything comes from God alone. Everything lives by his power and everything is for his glory. So that's all on that wall over there. So inspiration, um, in the sense of God's word. And then on this wall and around is inspiration, motivation, and encouragement to keep doing what it is that I'm doing on this wall. And I promise you, it really does. It does. It's almost like having a person to pour into you and encourage you every day. Because there are times where you be like, "Ugh, I just don't feel like making nothing. I don't feel like doing nothing." And then I could open the door to this room and walk in this room. And before you know it, I'm sitting here, and I'm supposed to be walking out the house, going to go do something. And I'll sit here and I'll start making something or writing something or doing something in this room. And also, when I come in this room, my journals, I do a lot of journaling in this room. I don't journal in my bedroom, in the living room, in the dining room. I don't do any of that. Everything goes on right here in this room. It's a dedicated space for me. It's a dedicated space for me to write, to work, to encourage myself, to pray, to do all those type of things right here in this room. And then when I walk out of this room, guess what? Work stays right here in this room. Just like if it was my job, when I go to my job, when I leave my job, my work stays there, right? What I like and I dig about this, I can leave out of my room, the Jury by BDK work studio, and go in any other place in here, right? And if I feel like coming back in here, because many times what I'll do is I'll leave the door wide open. So if I leave the door wide open and I pass by here, I'll come in here because I'm motivated to make something. So right here on this table, I leave a bunch of supplies and stuff out. Right on this table behind me, you can't see it, but right behind me, I leave a bunch of supplies and stuff out. So when I do walk back, I'll say, well, you know what, I can, and then I end up back in this workspace because it's not a hobby for me. It's not a craft for me. It's not something that I do to pass time. It's something, that I do and I do seriously, um, to build something from it, to build something that is sustainable. And then for me, the goal is I've been doing a lot of writing, is to come up with more products and things that are where I can create them once and I don't have to create them again. And that's where the journals come in. That's where the ebooks come in. That's where those things come into play at. And I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about selling at events. And my energy is a little down right now because I'm so tired. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I'm just kind of worn out, and it's raining. Um, but we were talking about events and selling at events and stuff. And I was saying, yeah, because the competition has greatened because there's a lot of people that are making jewelry, all type of jewelry, but yet, jewelry it is. And in addition to that, you have people that are selling that $5 jewelry at different places, where you go to, because I'm seeing it as well. So then I was saying, well, you got to come up with some other type of product to be able to kind of counteract that competition where it's not just jewelry, but something else that you can come up with. Like when people come to your table, it might be the jewelry that draws them, but there's something else there that they like and interested in, and they will buy too. It's not just jewelry. So it has to be, something and, other than just to, and then I was saying too, though, COVID, before COVID, and I know this because I used to be out there selling, but I stopped like die hard like that a long time ago. So I'll do, some shows here and there. But there are people that were like die hard veterans. I mean, they had that event vendor stuff, man. When I say them people was like, they was warriors with that stuff. A lot of those people are no longer out there selling. You know why? Because they're older people. They're older people, and a lot of them are still afraid to go back out and, move around and do that stuff because of COVID, right? And I think what happened too, though, with the 2 year shutdown like that, it's almost like when you get into a grind, you are in that grind. And then when you stop, right? And I think that's what happened with a lot of people that used to really be on that vending grind. But then you've been shut down for 2 years. And then the thought of, let me pack all this stuff up, these tables, these canopies, they ain't trying to do all that stuff no more. So what does that do? That leaves room and spaces for the new people that were not out there doing that, for the new creators, or you might have been creating but not out there selling, right? But there's space and there's room out there, but just, diversify, just kind of have something else more than just jewelry that you can have. I know Kesa is doing journals and pens now. So she's not just doing jewelry anymore. So that makes her, even more valuable and more competitive in the sense when she's out at these different events, because it's not just jewelry anymore, where you got a lot of people that are doing, that $5 jewelry. And I don't know for the life of me why you would have two vendors that are, that same brand at a place. That just puzzled me, but it is what it is. Probably family members. Don't tell nobody I told y'all though. So that's the whole thing about that. Then all you do is say, okay, well, you know what? I got to come up with another product. I am going to come up with another product. So then that way, when people come to my table, it's not just jewelry. It is, something different. And also spice items, sauce items. You got to come up with some sauce items. And we talked about sauce items because people really do want to support, but they may not want to spend $40 or $60 with every vendor. And they might have seen something. And a lot of times people will circulate themselves first before they'll buy something. And that's why, sometimes people will say, okay, well, I'll be back. Sometimes they ain't coming back. But for the most part, people will be coming back, right? So they can see what else is there because they might find something else that they like a little bit better than what you have. So, give them something. If it ain't a $40 item, because they seen one down at the other vendor that was $40, right? But then they remember, oh, you know what? She did have those little $5 earrings that I like, them earrings in the bottle. Sauce money, right? Oh, I did like that, right? And not only that, you have to be a salesperson. Everywhere event that I go to, people will sit. They won't talk. They won't say anything. You have to engage people. Sometimes people don't even know what they like, especially like bracelets, right? You could have a person just try a bracelet on and they'll try, it don't even have to be something really big or anything. It could be something just 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter bracelets. like the little friendship bracelets or, something just cute and dainty. And they can try that on. And it's like, oh, that looks really good. You have to almost like convince them, not trying to lie to them or anything, but convince them that looks really good on your wrist. And you have a very simple, I can tell you, have a very simple kind of, dress to you. And it looks like you probably, that's just your style. And then that bracelet will go well with, what you wear. It's not real gawky and you look like you probably work out. You probably, have a very busy, life where you don't need anything really big. You got to kind of convince people sometime too, though. People sometimes don't know what they like. They know they like something. They just don't know that it's a bracelet that they like. But anyway, I only stopped on here to talk about the wall, and y'all know how I be doing. I be going all off and carrying on. In my other video, I was talking about traffic, and one of the brothers that passed at my congregation, how he used to always pray for traveling grace for the entire church, right? Not just our church, but the complete body of Christ. And he would always pray about that. And I was saying in my other video that I put on my Facebook page, I can see the difference from where he would be praying for traveling grace versus him not praying because he is no longer here. I can see people going through red lights, stop sign, yield signs, turning in front of you real fast, like all kind of crazy stuff. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I never really noticed this, but I see this now, and I know why I see this, because he is no longer praying for traveling grace. So that said to me, okay, I have to start doing that for myself and also for others, because I never, as long as that man was praying for traveling grace, I never saw what I see now. And I'm like, that was his prayer. And I know that's what that was. That was that coverage. But anyway, because y'all know I'll talk all day and all night. But anyway, guess what? We'll talk soon.